Now on to that Wisconsin trial I was telling you about just a moment ago. This is day 3 in the testimony. A husband is on trial for murdering his wife, and his former employee is now testifying against him. Here to make sense of it all is In Session's Gene Casares. And Gene, I was reading up on this and listening to some of the testimony today. Let's just first explain to people what this man is accused of doing.
Hi, Reggie. Good afternoon to everybody. Well, the prosecution is saying in this case that the defendant, Mark Jensen, a stockbroker, actually killed his wife by poisoning her to death, actually feeding her antifreeze, which has ethylene glycol, which then metabolized in her system and caused her death. The defense is saying, that's not what happened at all. Julie Jensen was a very depressed woman. She was very distraught, had a lot of mental issues, and she actually committed suicide. But before she died, she told everybody that her husband was trying to kill her, so she framed him while she was still alive. So he is in a courtroom now for a crime he did not commit.
There is a lot of evidence that the prosecution is presenting, and one of their star witnesses in this trial is a guy named Ed Klug. He's someone who used to work with the accused, and this is what is so baffling to me. Ed is telling the jury that he sat on this information, that he knew that his coworker was talking about possibly killing his wife, and then didn't report it to anybody.
That's right, Reggie. What he is testifying to, Ed Klug, and he's been on the stand for a long time, just got off the stand. He says that in November of 1998, he was at a business convention with Mark Jensen, and they both were having problems in their marriage, so they were drinking through the evening, and even up until when the bar closed that night. Then they went into the lobby for some coffee drinks, but as the alcohol was flowing and as they kept talking about their wives, he actually said they had a wife-bashing session, Mark Jensen suddenly said, you know, I'm trying to kill my wife, and I'm looking on research on the internet, and I'm finding ways of undetectable poisons where you can actually kill someone, but it's never detected. And I'm going to be trying to do that to my wife because I got to get out of this marriage. Defense is saying, you kept this for 9 years? You never came forward to law enforcement, and you suddenly do, summer of '07, just a few months ago? You are not to be believed, Mr. Klug.
It is extremely bizarre, and I'm told that that's not the only thing the defense has. They're making some headway in some other areas as well.
Well, the defense is also, they are cross-examining every witness, and there have not been too many thus far. But one area, the cause of death has always been antifreeze poisoning, the entire way. Well, with the first witness, the medical examiner, suddenly the prosecution on redirect says, you know, let's look at some things here. We've got a photo of her face in a pillow. We've got another photo of when her body was found that her nose and face was totally out of alignment, which is so unusual. And now we suddenly have testimony from a jailhouse snitch, we can call him, that said that Mark Jensen in summer of '07 said, you know what? At the very end, I was feeding her this ethylene glycol, this antifreeze, but she wasn't dying. So at the very end, I had to put her face in a pillow and smother her to death. So prosecutor says to this ME, first witness on the stand, taking all of that in consideration, do you think her cause of death could have been suffocation? Medical examiner said yes, within a reasonable degree of medical certainty. I believe at this moment, because of all of the work that you prosecutors have done, I think she actually died of suffocation.
You know, you're pointing out to us so much evidence. You've got Klug on the stand saying that he had conversations about the ways in which this wife, Julie Jensen, may have died. You have a jailhouse snitch who is talking against him. I mean, it sounds to me like the defense is going to have a hard time with this.
This is called, Reggie, a circumstantial case, which means that nobody witnessed this. Nobody can come into court and specifically say, yes, I saw it, this is what happened. But it's all these puzzle pieces that come together. And there's great cross-examination because you can find holes in all of this, but will the jury in the end believe the puzzle pieces fit together well enough so that beyond a reasonable doubt, yes, they believe Mark Jensen, stockbroker, poisoned his wife to death? We'll have to wait and see.
Now, this Klug character, the stockbroker that you're talking about, he didn't tell police right away what was happening, but he did talk to other people?
Yes, he is saying that he spoke with his wife, immediately, contemporaneously, when this conversation was happening in '98, that he spoke with his partner, that he spoke with several of his secretaries. Reggie, they're all going to take the stand. And if they corroborate what Klug is saying, yes, he did tell me this back in '98, that's going to give this witness a lot of credibility. If they don't corroborate it, then it's going to hurt the prosecution.
Gene, I am baffled. Okay, he told his wife, he told his partner, he told all these people. Why didn't they go to police? Why didn't they go and say, look, there's a problem here?
What he has said on the stand is Mark Jensen was my direct boss. He approved all of my stock trades, all of my buys. I was brand new at this company. I was scared to come forward because if he actually killed his wife, what could he do to me if I went forward? Secondly, Mr. Klug was having marital problems. There was a secretary he liked. He had moved out of his home. He'd actually filed for divorce. There was a woman allegedly he was flirting with that very night. Personally speaking, he may not have want to have gone to police to expose all of those things because he and his wife had just reconciled to try it again.
All right, and finally, before I let you go, Gene, obviously the defense is going to want to poke holes in this testimony. So, what kind of history or what kind of motive possibly would we be able to imagine that Klug would come forward with this information even if, let's say it's not true, let's say it's fabricating it?
Right. Why would he lie? What would be his motive to lie? Well, you know, we listened to the cross-examination. Defense has not really brought it into focus what his motive would be. But I think they're going to go that this man's an attention getter, that he just wants attention because he's the star witness here. And I think that their closing argument way down the line will really put into focus why they believe this man would lie. And Reggie, by the way, Mr. Klug's wife, Joanne Klug, is on the stand right now.
All right, I'm getting into this trial every day as we talk about this because with every twist and turn, there's more information that seems ludicrous. So I'm going to be interested in seeing what happens over the next few days. Thanks so much. We'll see you again.
Thanks, Reggie.